It's Final Friday.
Kara, let's move on to your next follow. Yeah. I asked you for someone you have a non-romantic crush on, and you said the English actor and producer Gemma Chan, who is on Twitter at Gemma_Chan. Yeah. She's also on Instagram at Gemma Chan, no underscore.
Wait, what did you say, a non-what?
A non-romantic crush.
Oh, sure. She's gorgeous.
This is one of my favorite categories in the show.
Also smart. I'm smart to throw that in.
So this is my favorite categories because some people have very different reasons for saying they have a crush or a non-romantic crush on someone. So explain why her.
There's something about, I saw her in several different things, and she was in Crazy Rich Asians. Mm-hmm. There's something she has with the screen that's very compelling to me, at least. I find her both sad and wise, and I don't know, there's something about her that I really like. I'm excited to see her in what it seems like a relatively lead role in The Eternals. Mm-hmm. I obviously love Avengers movies, hello. I find her, she's the kind of actress that should be more valued by Hollywood, I guess. Mm-hmm. There's something about her, and isn't, of course. But I find her compelling. I can't explain it.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at her Twitter, and it's really interesting because there's a lot of the standard promotional stuff of here's a photo shoot from a magazine, here's something about Eternals, here's something about some other movie, whatever. But then mixed in, there's tweets and retweets that I assume she's doing herself, where it's talking about anti-Asian hate crimes, and talking about racism against the English football team, against the black players on the team, where she's using her platform to raise awareness about really serious stuff.
I really like, I was thinking about The Eternals because I want to interview, and the obvious people are Chloe Zhao, who directed it, who I think is really talented, who did Nomadland and won the Oscar this year, and also Kevin Feige. Is it Feige?
Feige, I think.
Whatever, him. But I keep coming back to her. Or Angelina Jolie would be interesting, for sure. But I somehow keep coming back to her. Someone I'd really like to talk to about acting. I don't know why. She's also beautiful.
So you've never met her. You never had a chance to interview her.
No.
Well, if you did have a chance, what would be your first question for her? What would you want to ask her most urgently?
I'd have to see The Eternals. I talk about this. Her compelling nature, I think, without freaking her out, like I'm a stalker. I would talk about her role, how she looks at her power in Hollywood. Sway is about power, how she thinks about it. I just have a feeling. I don't know. I just have a feeling she's just very compelling, and it happens not very often.
Yeah.
When I see an actor that's like that. I don't know what the first question would be. I have to see The Eternals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I mentioned that she uses her platform, her Twitter, to raise awareness about some serious issues. You have almost 10 times the number of followers that she does.
1.4 million,
Yeah, you could log. You counted, yeah.
No, it's just, I was looking today. I was just looking today.
I've been refreshing your own bio, yeah.
I got on Twitter early, so a lot of them are bots, let's be honest. But I have a lot of followers, I do.
Well, so you have this gigantic platform yourself. How do you... I mentioned that she's kind of balancing her promotional stuff with these more serious political issues. How do you weigh your responsibility, your priorities, and deciding what to talk about? Because you could have a day where there's no good news, and I imagine there's some temptation to just pile on, to just revel in just how shitty everything feels. But there's also maybe some some case for distraction or for entertainment.
I try to do a lot of things. I try to call attention to cool stuff I see, smart things. Twitter, for all its toxicity and swampiness, can be very beautiful and funny. Very funny stuff on there, very creative, just like TikTok. So you're like, wow, people are really funny and creative, and I tend to try to focus on that part. I certainly use it as a bully pulpit to smack around people. When Adam Mosseri from Facebook was using the idea, cars are bad for humanity, but in the whole they're good. It was crazy. What an idiotic metaphor. I was like, put down Twitter right now. Kevin Roose, who is a wonderful Twitter person, he works for the New York Times, said it's like the head of Chipotle saying, the salmonella in the guac that killed people, sure, that was a problem, but in the end, industrialized food production means we don't have to be hunter-gatherers anymore. He was like, are you kidding me? I push back on him on that,
right?
But not as good as Kevin. I tend to I focus. I try to use it judiciously. I'm not, even though I use Twitter a lot, I think I'm a professional Twitterer compared to most people. There's a lot of, I'm very careful, much more. I made one mistake once, which I regret. But a lot of reporters are a little too much on it, I think. And I often text friends of mine, I'm like, put down Twitter right now. You can't say that. You know,
Some people are addicted, yeah.
They're addicted, and especially during the Trump era. You know, when I just recently interviewed Jason Miller, I get that people don't like him. Hello, I don't like him. But I think it's important. He was starting this new thing called Getter, which you can't believe the name of that.
This is a free speech platform. Yeah.
And it was a very tough interview. The only worst name for Getter, which is like, sounds like grabber, you know, kind of thing, as in, you know. And I did a column and I said the only worst name would be Mindspace, or Titter, you know, if it's a Trump-related social network. And I wanted to interview him because this is where Trump might emerge. And I'd written a lot about this topic of him getting kicked off. I had warned Twitter quite a bit about what he was doing. And so I wanted to talk to him about it. People lost their fucking minds about it. And I was like, are you kidding me? You've got to hear these people. And it was an extraordinarily tough interview. And they liked it when I did it for Parler because the guy got fired and they got shut down. They didn't like it when I did it for Miller because they assumed I'm not doing my job, which is to ask tough questions of people. So that was, you know, that was an interesting moment on Twitter. I was sort of, I responded, I'm like, you know, suck it, I'll interview whoever I want. You know, well, so.
All right, here's a really tough hardball question for you.
I think I tweeted that, suck it.
Here's a tough hardball question for you.
Sure.
Before Gemma Chan and Chloe Zhao come in and make the best Marvel movie, what is the best Marvel movie?
Oh, wow. I think probably Iron Man, the first one, and Black Panther, I guess.
Good picks.
Although I liked Shang-Chi. It's the first movie I have gone to recently in the theater in 2 years. I've now decided whether movies are COVID-worthy. You know, remember on Spongeworthy on Seinfeld?
You watched F9 at home. I remember you wrote a column about this.
I love Fast and Furious, but I watched it at home. And I couldn't go to the theater. I just wasn't COVID-worthy. And so I'm going to go to Bond. I'll be honest with you. I'm headed to Bond. I'll go to Top Gun 2. I know. Don't hate me. Don't hate me.
Keep on pushing that one back. It's driving me nuts.
I think I'm going to go.
You're going to go.
I'm going to. I just love Maverick. I don't know why. I just do.
Well, that was Gemma Chan, who's on Twitter at Gemma_Chan and on Instagram at Gemma Chan.